Victor and Igor head to the graveyard where they begin to dig up bodies. Victor saying, "Hear that? New life awaits it. We'll dig up 4 more of these people. Makes 5, no, 6 people," said Victor. "Of course. But what about the thief and Wardman's brain?" Yes, they have useful parts too. But just to be sure." After digging up bodies and taking them back to Victor's lab, they then begin to conduct experiments, conducting electricity, power, making a hand move. "See that, Igor?" said Victor. "The hand is moving with the current flowing through it. If we can get enough power, we could create something that could come to life. But of course first we must experiment on other things." "Yes, of course, Victor." "Did you find any dead animals?" "I found the rat and the toad." "Good. We will see if this puts it to the test." Victor then puts electrical jolts into a rat. The rat lives for a brief moment before dropping dead again. They then experiment on the toad, and the toad lives once again, hopping around before it dies again. Victor recording in his journal, "Response on small living organisms have been successful temporarily, but I think for this to really work we need a full lightning storm power." Then, later on, a few days after, Igor comes in a hurry saying, "Victor, the town is going into quarantine." "What do you mean?" "Well, it seems that the outbreak of smallpox is become an epidemic and they are containing the town. People are getting out as quick as they can. Shouldn't you be getting out of here?" "No, Igor. This work is too great. I must see it through to the end." Then Victor hears a knock on the door. It's Elizabeth saying, Victor, it's me, Elizabeth. Let me in." I can't speak with her. "Victor, I'm not leaving until we have spoken." "Go let her in, Igor. I will be out shortly. Do not let her in here." "Yes, of course, Victor." Igor answers the door and invites Elizabeth inside. She says, "Who are you?" My name is Igor. I am Frankenstein's assistant." "Where is he? I must speak with him." Victor then makes himself presentable and steps out from the curtain saying, "Elizabeth, what are you doing here? You haven't written to me for months. I had to find out what was going on. If you found another woman." "Elizabeth, there will never be another woman. You are all that is important to me." "Well, Victor, come home. This town is about to go in quarantine, and once it is, we won't be able to leave. Come home with me, Victor." "I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but I can't." "Why, what's wrong? You look overworked, Victor. What's going on?" "I'm on the edge of a huge breakthrough here. A huge project, and I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but it must come first. I promise I will explain all when I return, but right now I need to do this." I see. Your work is more important than I am. Goodbye, Victor. Elizabeth, wait. Wait. Elizabeth then leaves and then gets onto a carriage and tells the cabby to take her out of town. Igor then says, "She looks like a nice woman, Victor. Is she a lover?" "My fiancée. Or at least I think so." "Is this work really more important than her?" "It's in the name of science, Igor. I could perform a miracle, I might not, I don't know. But tonight I predict that there may be a great thunderstorm. We must prepare for the final experiment." "The final experiment? You mean?" "Yes. We need to start putting this thing together. Fresh human body parts. To see if organs can be reused and if we can cure death. Or maybe even bring new life." Victor and Igor then get to work as Victor starts stitching body parts together, different layers of skin, fusing bones together, also putting in metal rods for conduction, bringing pieces of man together. He then looks and says to Igor, "It's ready. Now we just need to wait for nightfall." Thunder is then heard from outside, and it begins to rain torrentially. Igor then says, "Is this it, Victor?" "Yes, Igor. Yes, it is. Come, we must prepare." Now, there is a rod up on top of this building. I've connected it to all these wires. If we can just conduct enough electricity, we could possibly make new life. Here, we must put the body into this water tank. There, it will have electrical eels, jolting electricity in it even more. Then, later on, when the storm is at its highest, Victor then tells Igor, "Prepare the machine." "Yes, master." Then Victor hopes, prays that lightning will strike. Just as he's about to give up hope, the lightning strikes, conducting electricity through the building, through his machine. He then lets out the electrical eels in the water tank, electrocuting the body, with more electricity powering through, jolting, making the body twitch. Then, after, Victor then shouts, "Come on, live, live," as he cries out. Then he sees the monster that he has made. Its eyes open and says, "Yes, yes," said Victor. Then he tells Igor to turn off the power, and as he does, the creature loses consciousness. Then Victor looks and says, "No, no." He takes the body out of the tank and places it on the table. He then covers the body up. Igor then saying, "Did it work?" "No, Igor. It's a dead end. What a waste." Then, under the blankets, The hand begins to move. He then hears a groan. Victor, turning around in disbelief, and says, "It's alive! It's alive! My God! It's alive!" Victor then runs up to the creature and lifts the blanket and says, "Oh, it's alive! My God, it's alive! Now I know what it's like to be God. Now I know what it's like to be God." As he stumbles, Igor then says, "Victor, you've done it. It is alive. You've created new life." Victor then looks down at his creation as it lays. He then says, "Oh God, what have I done?" "You've made a scientific breakthrough, Victor. You've made history." "No, Igor. No, Oh God, why did I do this?" "Because you said it was God's will." "No. What if God gave me this knowledge to test me? Look at what I've made. It's an abomination. It's a monster." "Quick, help me strap it down." Victor then puts restraints on the creature. Then, as he records in his journal, "Final experiment was a success. The creature is alive. New form of life. Tomorrow, this journal and all its secrets will be destroyed." Victor then places his journal into his long coat. He then says to Igor, "Let us get some rest. We'll worry more about this in the morning. Right now I'm tired." Igor then walks up to the creature as it groans. Alive and unaware, he looks down and says to the creature, "I am sorry, but you are a failed experiment by Victor Frankenstein. But if you were my creation, I would be overjoyed. But I have prayed long for a friend, and Victor has given me that friendship. I just wish the same could be done for you." Later that night, as the storm begins to die down, Victor sleeps. As for the creature, it pulls at its restraints and breaks out, falling to the ground, wearing trousers with a metal rod on one of his legs, a rib sticking out from one of his sides, covered in stitch lines, with a long face and a flat top head with long hair and bolts showing on his neck, with one milky eye and one blue eye. The creature then stands, one hand bandaged and one hand all stitched. He looks at his hands. Then he walks up to the mirror and is startled, screaming and wondering what the hell is he looking at. He then approaches the mirror and touches his own face, groaning. He then wanders and goes up to Victor while he sleeps. Victor then wakes up to find the creature laying down at him. Waking in horror, he screams out loud and calls out to Igor. The creature, startled and scared, also runs. It then grabs a rag that it ties onto its feet, and also the coat that Victor places his journal in, quickly putting it on and pushing the door, breaking it down, and begins to run. Victor grabbing an axe, Igor telling him to calm down. Victor then returns to his room and sees the creature has gone, looks all around his room and his lab, and finds the door has been broken down. Igor then says, "It got out. What do you think it will do now?" "I don't know. I don't know, but it's gone. And good riddance to it." "But what if it does something? Then it will not be our problem. Listen to me, Igor. This must not get out. Do you hear me? It must not get out." "Yes, sir. But what do we do now?" "We sit out the rest of quarantine, and then I return home to Geneva." The next morning, in the town, the creature awakens. There he sees a cat that grabs a mouse and drags it around. The creature then sees another mouse that it grabs and bites its head off, eating it. The creature then gets up and wanders around the small village, wondering what's going on, seeing people go about their business as he has his face covered by his hood. He then sees bread that it picks up. The baker then says, "Hey, you gotta pay for that!" As he knocks the monster, his hood falls down and is horrified by what he sees. The whole villagers look in terror. They then throw food at the creature, scaring it away. The monster then runs down an alleyway and jumps into a carriage where there are dead bodies getting taken to be burnt. As the bodies are carried out of town, the creature then jumps off the carriage and starts to walk away, wandering into the woods, walking and walking. The creature then stumbles upon a farm. He hides and observes the small family. He then hides in the barn, where he observes and sees the family being happy. He sees children playing and an old blind man playing a recorder. The creature looks in such delight and wonders what this is. He then notices that they have a vegetable patch and that they can't get all of these out because of the ground being frozen, saying they need the strength of 30 men to do this. The woman then says, "Come dear, it'll be dark in an hour. Let's just turn in for the night and we'll work something out tomorrow." They then go inside. The creature then comes out from hiding and sees the vegetables. With his strength he pulls them out easily, realizing he has strength. He then looks around the vegetable patch and then repeats the process. The next morning the family wakes to see that they have all their vegetables pulled. The woman says, "Who could have done this?" "I don't know." "Mother, father," said the little girl in the family, "how did you get all these vegetables out?" "We didn't." The old blind man in the family then says, "It is the spirits of the forest. They've heard our prayer." "Father," said the man, "I don't think it was these spirits of the forest. I think someone out there is looking out for us. Whoever he is, he's a good friend. The creature then hears that word and starts to try and say it. Fur.